Good evening, everyone. So we're going to go right into the city manager's report. Right?
Yes.
Yes, Mayor.
No, that's for
This report.
Oh, what are we doing? I'm confused here. I missed something?
No, it's up to you.
We're up to me, right?
It's up to you.
Good. All right. Okay, on for tonight, number one, we have a resolution for an agreement with HMH, which is our pediatric medical services. That's just a standard agreement that we have regarding our pediatric medical facilities that we provide for clinics and checkups and those who need medical service. We also have on number two is a resolution reappointing of our recycling coordinator, which is Lisa Marie Shealy. So that's just another standard appointment that we have each year. Also on for tonight's request to Bergen County for a speed study on Johnson Avenue regarding, that's in the area of the breweries and the curb and the roadway there regarding some parking spaces. So that was the request for that's on for tonight. A resolution to see if Bergen County will conduct that speed survey. I'd like to call up our city engineer, Chris Wheaton, for the CSO stormwater and parks update.
Test. Evening, everybody. Okay, getting into our capital projects update on CSO and other major construction projects. Our major projects overview has not changed since the last meeting. These are the same as last time. Getting into Anderson Street Drainage Area CSO project. Again, this is the sixth sewer separation project for the city. We're currently working on, if we go to the next slide, please, Frank. As you're aware, we're currently working on the west of Railroad Avenue, Clay Street, Berdan, James Street, Berry Street, and Stanley Place. Work is ongoing, and we're most recently on Clay Street. There's significant pipes going in here, and so I just want to ask the public to be patient. I do understand the disruption that's occurring to the residents, and we are working with the contractors to do the best that we can to control the nuisance, control the access, and control the disturbance to the streets and so forth, and make sure that those do remain passable for the residents in the area. For Voorhees Lane Sanitary Sewer Pumping Station, we have just gotten our change order approved, and our contractor returns to work this week. The transformer and the structure for that has been installed, and they're currently doing the electrical work for that new transformer.
Chris, before we move on with that, we had a question, the mayor and council had a question. As you know, we were looking into the cause of what or the possible reason for the voltage difference in that situation. I was advised that it had the labeling requirements were something from 2014 and the National Electric Code. Can you expand on that for the mayor and council to explain that to them? What happened there?
I apologize, manager. I'll have to give you the email on that specifically, but the current city electrical engineer was not our city electrician at that time. So this was before his time, but he understands that the code did change in 2014 and required that that locations such as this label their power supplies. So that's appears to be when that probably occurred.
So I guess our question is then the specs that were generated for that pump were taken off of that information, and that's why there was a discrepancy in the voltage amount?
It was yes, the voltage requirements for the pumps are based on the labeling that was on the main power shutoff.
Okay. Does that answer that, Mayor?
Well, it does and it doesn't. I mean, whenever, if you order a pump, right, you have to make sure that pump
It matches the electrical source.
matches the electrical source coming in, not a placard on the wall. If that placard wasn't on the pump
Yeah.
itself, I would check with the new pump to see what the requirement was.
Right.
That's what I do at work.
We did look at the station for the motor panel and for the pumps that are submerged at this station.
Right.
There's no voltage indication on the panel for the motors for the existing pumps.
So on
There's
the
only
motors
voltage.
themselves, there's no voltage?
And maybe on the motors themselves, you'd have to go, it would be a confined space
The pump
entry
is
to the
only a
wet well.
mechanical device. The motor itself drives that device. So the motor is the one that would have the readings for, you know, voltage and amps and everything else, and what was it, whatever else you needed on there. So, you know, to me, somebody should have checked with the new pump and made sure it matched the incoming source.
Because the next time something like that happens, how you will get the right pump? Or the right motor for that pump? Then you have to replace the motor.
I
Where do you get information? How do you get it? There have to be in some place the specs to make the order for that motor.
I can get into the specifications.
Because you know only the voltage, but you got the ampere rating, the watts, everything else. You
Yes.
know only the voltage.
Yes.
3 phases, 2 phases, you know.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the existing motors are submerged, but I agree, it would have been, it would have been appropriate to test the voltage, I would think, at that location. It depends who you talk to. I have talked to electrical engineers in evaluating fault for this, for this situation. A number of them indicate that they would never put electrodes, you know, to check the current. It's just, it's a very risky proposition, so you have to be very careful.
Next.
Before you go any further, I'd like to just step back to the Berry Street, James Street
Yeah.
house. Is there any indication about how soon would that area be done?
This is a significant project. While the schedule that I just showed you at the beginning of the meeting shows that July or June finish to this project, we do anticipate that there will be an extension of time necessary due to the significant utility interference in this location and the way that the work has to be managed for those utility clearances. The coordination between Veolia and the contractor, between Veolia's, and between PSE&G as well. The PSE&G was not able to upgrade the services before they upgraded the main service to this area. They had a project that was changing from low pressure to high pressure, or possibly the other way around. They're changing their system. They have accelerated that project on the city's behalf, but there are a number of of things that are slowing us down coordination-wise. So currently, I anticipate the anticipated completion of this project is October at this point in time.
All right.
But that's not been formalized. Again, we're waiting for more information and documentation that justifies such an extension. Okay, for the post-Ida flood mitigation grant that the city is working on, we have advanced our CCTV program. Again, we're closing in on our finish date, which is the end of April. We're about 90% complete with this project, and really beneficial information for the city for design and maintenance purposes. Carver Park, The contractor is continuing to work on the site concrete, the sidewalks, and the like. And we are anticipating that the coatings will begin in early April for the final surfacing of the courts. Johnson Park Sports Complex, again, this has been up here for a little bit, but we're close to these to these documents being finalized and expected to be out to bid very soon. The Prospect Ave pedestrian safety project includes a flashing beacon at Prospect and Thompson, as well as a flashing beacon or a high-intensity activated crosswalk also at Prospect and Atlantic. And this project is out to bid right now, and bid opening will be in about 2 weeks on April 4th. The city offices at the John Earl Building are getting closer to completion. We're anticipating substantial completion still the end of this month at this time. And as you see, we're getting doors in. We have new gas service to the building. And the ceilings are being installed, the lighting is being installed, and electrical is continuing. Electrical work is continuing.
Chris, when you say it's essentially done by the end of the month, do you think that we can move the building department out of M&M?
That's substantial completion at the end of this month. Final completion will be a week or two after that. I guess I would defer to the building department for that comment.
Okay.
And just a public service announcement again to remind the public that there is a virtual public information center online at rt80wbpic.com. Where you can learn more about the significant project that the DOT is planning on Route 80 westbound. It will be a 10-year project, so there's a lot going to be going on in the coming decade, starting 2027. And with that, any further questions?
Yeah.
Where we are with the baseball fields and field 8, 9, and 10?
So we, in the application for the land use permitting, there was a finding that we're working to address at this time. And so we have to reapply for a wetlands permit, and that's where we're at right now.
Where we are with about the DEP that they change the distance.
That's
because
what
of
we're trying to.
eagles and stuff like that.
That's what we're trying to resolve. Councilman Battaglia was, they did find a bald eagle, and that potentially changes the wetlands buffer, but it's existing. It's.
Because if that happens, you will have to go and reverse 100 feet.
It will change the wetlands buffer. It would significantly change possibly the ability to construct closer to the wetlands, or to construct the existing parks where they are.
Okay.
We may need to switch gears on those 2 fields. If
At
that's,
least make the
There's
first
3
field.
fields, 8, 9, 10.
Make the lead, make
we
like
leave the
that.
fields in place. I don't know if this is feasible. We don't lose that distance, correct? They can't make you take the field away.
Yeah.
That's the argument that we're making, and just an update on that. We were able to set a meeting with DEP. Suburban was able to set a meeting with DEP for later this week, so we'll be meeting with them shortly on this topic.
So let's
That's
see.
what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to, as a pre-existing location, trying to convince them that, you know, that bald eagle's there now, and we're
Right.
just putting the field in the exact same location.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
encroaching on.
yeah, it's a hardship for us to have to move it back
Yeah.
to whatever the distance is because of the bald eagle.
But can we go and build 9 and 10 and let field number 8 at the field next to
I think it affects 2 fields. The buffer
Affect 2
the buffer
fields?
would affect 2 fields. I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure.
God.
Yeah. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
I'd have to double check them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, let's hope. That's, we love bald eagles, but I also want to see kids.
I don't know if you've seen this bald eagle on there. I think it's been eating too much of the Hackensack water.
We'll see, it's in the fish.
Probably why it's bald.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody from the public would like to speak, please come forward to the microphone, give your name to the clerk.
Speak on this or to speak?
Anything you want.
Anything you
Talk about the Yankees, the Mets, we don't.
Paul
People at the league.
Mike Jones, I'm from Hackensack Brewing, I live at 212 Wilson Street. I was just, I wanted to talk about, a little bit about, over by the brewery on Johnson Avenue. I know there's a resolution up to deal with kind of a traffic study over there, and I just wanted to thank you guys for potentially maybe moving something like that forward. When we opened this business in 2019, we had hopes of doing a lot of business, and it's kind of almost exceeded that. So, you know, they say it's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem. So that street, Johnson Avenue, people fly down that block, and there's like a blind bend right there. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with it. My fear is, and again, I'm part of it also, right, because the people are coming to the brewery, and which is a good thing for me, but at the same time, public safety is a concern. So what happens is a lot of people, since by the laws of the state of New Jersey, we can't serve food. Everybody goes to the restaurants around us, which is great for Presto's, Leo's. Now you have Viva Margarita there also, which is doing kind of a brisk business. Kinyobi, you got pizza night over there, late night pizza. So we have a lot of people that wind up crossing that street, and it's scary. So I just, you know, seeing this resolution, and if we could potentially get that speed limit reduced, I think would be a big deal for us. Also in that area, what we deal with too is, and what I would ask for is, maybe if it does work out and the speed limit is reduced, and there's a potential for maybe some more parking in that area. We do have enough parking as per the size of us. We also, I contracted with Brothers Carpet and Flooring down the block, so I have an additional 30 spots there right now. But even with that, sometimes there's a lot of people out there. I'm sure you guys see it. You guys live in the neighborhood. So I just ask maybe that you guys take some of that into consideration if they do slow the speed limit down, because I believe if the speed limit is lowered, there is potential to put some parking maybe on Johnson Avenue there. I don't know how long stuff like this takes, and I know it has to go through the county, and I assume I'll have to go to meetings there to speak. But another thing I wanted to maybe just get on everybody's radar is Burlew's Court behind us is public parking. There's not a direct cut through to the brewery, so I'm in the process of trying to talk to the owners of the industrial park. Kindergans sold it, I think, last year, 2 years ago, and to see if they can leave a couple gates open for us. So if we did have people parking on the public parking on Burlew's, they can cut through. But that said, it's really not well lit, and there's really no signs of where the parking are on Burlew's. So I have sent people there in the past, and there's some confusion on where they can and can't park. And to be honest, it's a little bit intimidating for people because it's a very dark industrial area. So I mean, it's like I said, we just lost a brewery down the block, unfortunately, which is, I think, a big loss for Hackensack. It's a big loss for us too, because if you guys have been down there, there's something special kind of going on the north side of town. My time's up. But you know, it's people being able to park safely is a kind of a big deal for us. So maybe if you guys, I just wanted to put it on the record, if you guys have some consideration on it down the line.
I mean, if it's, yeah. If there's public parking back there, we get to be sure it's safe. So
Yeah. It would help a lot. We have a lot of people that come from, we get a draw because of the beer geeks. So, you know, we get people from upstate New York, eastern Pennsylvania that come in and they eat at all those local restaurants, and we don't really provide outside of having a food truck sometimes. So I appreciate you guys giving me the time. Thank you.
Just, you know, Mike, that's a list, that's 7 pages of accidents on Johnson Avenue,
On
in
Johnson
that area. since 2014 in 10 years.
Right.
7 pages of accidents that we're going to the county with, they'll get that.
Right.
So,
Okay, I appreciate it. I've seen one.
a little bit.
I've seen one, but I imagine it's definitely more.
Yeah.
I hold my breath every time somebody goes across.
Actually, been quite a few hit and runs and injuries as well.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next person from the public, Mr. Smith.
Marty Smith, Prospect Avenue. I missed 2 of the last council meetings because of vacation, so did you miss me?
We did. Did you enjoy your vacation?
It's special meeting.
I missed
We were away. A couple of months ago, we brought up the issue of the speed limit on Summit Avenue between Passaic and Spring Valley Avenue. And we were told at that meeting that that area of Summit is under city jurisdiction. And we were wondering why the speed limit is 35 when speed limits on city streets are 25. And Mr. Caruso said he would check into it. I wonder if we have any information on that yet.
I have to go back and I have to look, Mr. Smith. I did look into it, because and I actually had something prepared for you, but you weren't here the last 2 meetings, as I missed you. So I misplaced where they are, but I will find that for you and I will get it to you. But we did look into it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next thing, has the council decided whether or not to move forward on the installation of flashing pedestrian crossing signs on Prospect at Berry and Golf, and eventually on Atlantic, once the Atlantic project is done?
So basically what we've undertaken is a pedestrian safety program. A lot of it based on some of the things you brought here. As you see, Atlantic and Prospect is getting done. We're putting in new flashing signs, where there already are some flashing signs on Thompson and Prospect that was just announced. And it's going to be an ongoing project. So yes, I can't guarantee you that it's going to be at every intersection, but we're going to pick and choose and work with traffic and see where it's necessary and put in. I'd like to see lit up pedestrian signs, flashing pedestrian signs everywhere.
They're very important at night for better visibility for drivers
It's a
and
crosswalk.
making it safer for pedestrians. My last question is, we had received grant money in the amount of $400 and some odd thousand for upgrades to traffic safety devices on Prospect. Has any of that money been used yet?
A lot of it's going towards Atlantic and
That's part of, that money is gonna be used towards the bid, we have the bid opening for that project coming up, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
that's
that
the
money's
one.
allocated for what.
So
we
we'll
hope
be
is
using
gonna
that
come
money
through
instead of budget money from the city?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good one.
Next person? Good evening.
How's it going? Mark Jackson. I represent the Stroh Companies, who is the management company for a couple buildings in Hackensack, namely 211, 215 South Newman Street. And at that location, we have a significant flooding issue. Every time you get any sort of high volume of rain in a short amount of time, Lowson Slope, I believe, backs up significantly in the entire street and area flood. And it's great hearing Chris talk about some of the flood mitigation that's going on now. But I had just a question about, is there any infrastructure projects that are going to improve that area directly, I guess?
Chris, could you step up, please? Yes, there are. This council is, the area that she discussed tonight, the
Yeah.
Railroad Avenue area,
Okay.
I mean, it started as an approximate $40 million project to get that done. And we are ongoing over to your area by Newman
Yeah.
and Lodi.
So I don't know if you saw the meeting on February 20th?
We looked at the meeting there, so
Okay.
we missed that meeting
So
unfortunately.
we did have a slide, I can include this periodically just to, refresh, but the issue at South Newman is complicated because it's a I mean, there's various places that drain into that area. And so the biggest improvement, or what the city's doing now, will have an improvement on that area because we're diverting water away from, out of that drainage area that's currently occupying the pipes that serve the area. So, so number one, we're taking water out of those pipes, so that will help. The projects that we're doing are ongoing for the next couple of years still. You know, it's a process that the city allocates funding to as able. So we have met with the county to talk about this issue and you know, make sure that this issue doesn't go away, because we really do need county assistance, as it's a multi, you know, jurisdictional community issue with the neighboring towns. So we need assistance. We can't just do it all on our own. We really need, as you pointed out, the Wilson Slope Creek is where our water drains to. That area is tidal. You're going to have worse conditions when the tide is up. Maybe we can add some tide gates, but those tide gates would be outside of Hackensack. So it's an issue that we can't solve on our own, and we're seeking assistance from the county. Yeah, we haven't lost track of it. It's definitely something that we're continuing to try to discuss.
Thank you. Is that a copy of that PowerPoint available?
You can find this online.
On the website?
Yeah, February 20th.
Okay.
And you should be able to hear anything else I'm going to say.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have some inquiries with the DEP about the whole situation. We know that there's the Meadowlands project going on that's, I guess, doing the Liberty Street pump station in the East Riser ditch improvements. We actually, my ownership, they have a building in Menaki as well, which is impacted by the same drainage system. So it's definitely a local issue. It's a multi-community issue, so we can appreciate that. A couple other things we just wanted to bring in front of the council tonight were the paving also on South Newman, and maybe it might be more appropriate to address that, you know, after some of the flooding has been addressed, but the street there has deteriorated significantly, probably due to the recurring flooding issues that occur on that street. Obviously, you guys are seemingly familiar with that. You know, it's concerning to us as an owner because it's in flood zone X. It's not an AE zone or anything like that. So, you know, when my ownership went to purchase the building, we didn't really fully understand, you know, the flood hazard that we were getting into. So it's been a hardship on the ownership on multiple different fronts. Lost tenants, tenants have left the building, things like that. And now with the upcoming legislation where we have to disclose in our leases, actually it goes into effect tomorrow, that we have a flooding property. So it's going to hurt us more, even more so going forward. And then the last note I wanted to touch on was we recently had some sewage backup issues at 215 South Newman specifically, where we've been told by our engineers and plumbing companies that we've had to investigate the issue that the pressure in the street is building up so much so that it actually pushes sewage past our backflow preventer and into the building, and we've had multiple backups. So I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention in hopes that it would get addressed in the near term.
We'll definitely look at that. We're combined over there?
It's actually the upward, yes.
Yeah.
Portion is yes.
Yeah.
I'll-
One of our goals,
We're currently in litigation, actually. There's some legal documents going back and forth with one of the tenants in the building that had this back up, and they're requesting free rent and things like that. So it's been a little bit of a hardship.
one of this council's goals, and we've accomplished quite a bit, and we're working towards that goal at that part of town also, is to separate all the sewers in town. We're one of 3 combined sewer municipalities in Bergen County, and our goal was, it actually was kind of mandated, the DEP and EPA were both on us because we were getting overflows. That also backs up and overflows into the river, which poses a big problem. So we are working on that, but it's unfortunately, this work takes a long time. We've been doing this for a while, probably 8 years of sewer separation work going on already, so. But we're getting there slowly but surely.
Is that area of town on the radar for upcoming improvements, or do you know?
Well, we're definitely cleaning the pipes in that
Okay.
area presently. It's in the CCTV program.
Right.
Okay, that will help, because we've
It'll
scoped our pipes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we've been told by our experts that we brought into the situation
They've
that,
already cleaned, I don't know how many miles of pipe already, it was quite.
31.
31 miles of pipe.
I don't know if you have any, Mark Jackson. Yeah.
For the record.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome, thanks for coming.
Just call the office.
Anyone else from the public like to speak?
Find us on the website.
Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
If it's okay, I have your contact info now, so
All in favor?
Thank you so
much.
Aye. Okay, we'll see everybody at 8 o'clock.